Hello and welcome to Simple Cryptocurrency News presented by Chain. And in this news video, we're going to be looking at the cryptocurrency price market. Then we'll be talking about some news from Elastos. Then we'll be looking at news from the Ontology ecosystem, and finally I'll wrap it up with news from the NEO ecosystem as always. Now before I get into the news, I just wanted to remind you that in the description below the video, you'll find the times as well as the links of the topics that I'll be discussing in the video, so you can simply click on the time and it'll take you directly to the topic that you may be interested in watching. That being said, let's get right in. So as we can see on CoinMarketCap, the price of Bitcoin has been holding pretty strong above $5,000. Now it did take a dip yesterday to about 4,900, but it went right back up, and traders are saying that the next support line is around $5,400. So that's pretty cool, right? We still got a lot of room to grow, but also it could go down. So just keep that in mind because cryptocurrency is very volatile, as you well know. Now in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has gone up 0.45%, Ethereum $163, just down 0.5%. We've got NEO, which is trading at $13.13, and Ontology $1.58. Now something to note is that Ontology was actually higher than NEO in terms of the CoinMarketCap ranking some time ago, but NEO has taken over again, and the difference in the market cap is quite large, as we can see. Now let's see, the biggest gainers in the last 24 hours are Aurora and Ravencoin, and the biggest losers are KuCoin shares and XRP. So that's that about the state of the market. Now let's get right into the news and talk about Elastos. So what do we have from Elastos? So something quite important, right? Delegated proof of stake and auxiliary proof of work consensus. So this is something new. This is something hybrid. It's a hybrid consensus mechanism. We have heard of delegated proof of stake. We have heard of proof of work because obviously Bitcoin is proof of work, but we've probably never heard of auxiliary proof of work, or maybe some of you did, but definitely not all of you, right? This is some new concept. Now, what is auxiliary proof of work? Now, when I talk about auxiliary proof of work, we actually need to think of it as two different blockchains, one mining on top of another. So in this case, you've got the parent blockchain, which is Bitcoin, and then you've got the auxiliary blockchain, which is Elastos. So basically, when Bitcoin is getting mined, Elastos is also getting mined. However, on top of this, we've also got the delegated proof of stake, which is used to basically check these transactions that are being mined by miners on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's a really complex process if you think about it, but it's really interesting from a technical aspect and also security, right? Because this means that it's a lot more secure, and this is why people are so bullish on Elastos for implementing this kind of consensus mechanism. So here, as we can see on the elanews.net website where we get news from Elastos, the Elastos blockchain team is excited to announce that a delegated proof of stake component of our hybrid consensus is prepared to go live. Now, so what is it all about? Let's see. So the delegated proof of stake election will be a gradual process that will take place over a series of phases. Now, because Elastos employs a hybrid consensus that consists of both auxiliary proof of work and delegated proof of stake, blocks are packaged by Bitcoin miners who merge mine Bitcoin with Ela. Okay, so this is the first thing. And following the successful solving of a block, the delegated proof of stake supernodes sign the blocks to provide finality before Bitcoin miners publish the blocks to the blockchain. Okay, so this is an extra step of security. Now, the Elastos merge mining operation first began in August 2018. However, it does not include to the general public. Initially, merge mining was open only to BTC.com mining pool, which was allowed to merge mine ELA with Bitcoin. Now, at that stage, the delegated proof of stake component was still in the process of being prepared for implementation, so only the auxiliary proof of work branch of Elastos hybrid consensus was in effect. However, the Elastos blockchain did not suffer from a lack of security during this period, as its network was still protected by the massive hash power of Bitcoin miners. Now, since 2018, the development of delegated proof of stake has been advancing rapidly, and finally it is ready to go live. When the delegated proof of stake consensus is added to the Elastos blockchain, its hybrid consensus will be complete, which will give rise to a number of positive effects. So first, as soon as the delegated proof of stake consensus is live on the Elastos main chain, merge mining will be open to the entirety of the general public. This is really important because a lot of people will be able to mine. Now, along with the BTC.com mining pool, all other mining pools and individual miners will have the opportunity to upgrade their BTC mining clients to begin merge mining ELA in parallel to Bitcoin. Now, secondly, it is anticipated that the hash power of the Elastos blockchain will rise dramatically and thereby further securing the network. Thirdly, DPoS nodes add an additional layer of security in serving to provide finality for solved blocks. Of course, it is already astronomically costly and difficult to amass over 50% of the Bitcoin hash power because there are so many BTC miners, and likewise we expect that it will be at least as difficult to amass 50% of the Elastos' network hash power. Now, beyond the auxiliary proof of work though, it is ultimately the delegated proof of stake supernodes who have the final say in which blocks to sign and which blocks to ignore. Thus, the delegated proof of stake supernodes can collectively ignore the malicious blocks that were sent to the blockchain P2P network and ensure the optimal function and secure transaction on the Elastos blockchain. Let's see. Now, so that's pretty good because we can see here the different steps in the roadmap that they've got. So first is going to be the Elastos mainnet, which is upgraded to support DPoS selection. Then mainnet supports DPoS and is open to all proof of work miners at this time, and the 12 CRC supernodes, which will go live and begin taking part in the DPoS consensus. So these are the supernodes which are going to be validating the transactions. So this is pretty cool, right? This is something interesting. It's a new type of consensus mechanism, and actually auxiliary merge mining is not completely new. I did make a mistake and I just realized that in this article, which I'm going to be talking about now, just to explain auxiliary proof of work to some of you that maybe are not so technical. Now, I didn't actually know about this term myself either, so it's an interesting topic that we can basically educate ourselves in. So what is merge mining? Can you mine two cryptos at the same time? So merge mining, right, this is the technical term, the auxiliary proof of work, is the process of mining two separate cryptocurrencies at the same time. Now, it's not as popular as the traditional proof of work or even the proof of stake algorithms, but some projects have implemented merge mining to piggyback off the more secure networks as they grow. Now, although it wasn't included in the Bitcoin white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto, now a rough idea of merge mining was actually outlined in a Bitcoin forum in 2009. Okay, so they did talk about it since 2009. It was just an idea, of course, not an implementation. So basically, how does it work? It's like I was telling you. So you've got the auxiliary chain, which in this case it's Elastos, and the parent chain, which in this case is Bitcoin, right? They must share the same hashing algorithm, which is the SHA-256 hashing algorithm used for mining. And for the implementation, something to keep in mind is that you don't actually need extra computing power. Okay, now not needing extra computing power is something positive, right? Because as a miner you can mine Bitcoin just as efficiently as you mine Elastos, right? So basically it's like if you're only mining Bitcoin but not Elastos, now you also get Elastos on top of that. So that's something positive. However, not everything is positive, right? Just something to keep in mind. And I want to talk about the bad. And the bad is that both the miners and the mining pools have some extra work to do. Okay, this is something important to keep in mind because although it doesn't require additional power, it does require more maintenance work. So when you mine two blockchains, you have twice the connections to serve and twice the distribution channels to maintain if you run a mining pool. And of course, if you need to come off merge mining, you do need to do a hard fork. So this means that Elastos may need to hard fork at some point in the future if they decide to move off this type of consensus mechanism. And also the good thing, I just want to talk about the good thing as well. Basically, most importantly, you get better security. Okay, so less chance of a 51% attack, as they were saying in their update as well in the article. Also, you get exposure by being associated with a more popular blockchain, okay, as an auxiliary chain, because obviously more people will find out about Elastos. In addition, the miners are heavily incentivized to participate as they receive the extra income at no additional cost or power. And because miners usually trade between the two coins to keep what they favor, there's a boost in liquidity for both cryptos, right? So this is pretty cool because more people will know about Elastos. So if you're an Elastos investor, I'm sure you'll be very happy with this, especially considering the price of Elastos going up lately as well, as now like trading at like over $4. So yeah, do leave a comment below this video if you have more information to add about Elastos, proof of stake, and auxiliary proof of work. Now, I'm quite new to these news as well myself. I haven't been following Elastos very closely. I have heard of these news because some of the people on the Telegram channel I'm on are Elastos followers, so they told me about these news. I just thought I'd cover it, you know, to let people know about it. But yes, this is pretty good. There has been some FUD at some point about Elastos, and obviously this FUD is now over and people are once again bullish on Elastos. It just shows you that with cryptocurrencies, one day you'll get FUD, the next day you'll get bullish days. So, you know, it's always like that, right? Cool. So let's talk about the Ontology ecosystem. So not a lot of news from the Ontology ecosystem lately. Obviously, we had a lot of news in the last few weeks, but just something to note here. BitZ, which is an exchange, are going to be launching their first initial exchange offering, which we've seen with the top network as well on Huobi. So this is BitZ now that are launching the DeFi Lab. That's the name of the project, which is going to launch an IO on the BitZ exchange on April 10th. So basically, DeFi, what are they all about? So it's a blockchain-based secure multi-party computation data protocol for Southeast Asia. Okay, so this is Asian stuff, right? This is an Asian project. But yeah, just something to check out. If you're interested, do read more about it, of course, and just find out what it's all about. So yeah, that's that about Ontology. We'll keep an eye out when we get more news as always, and I'll definitely cover them as I always do. But let's move on and talk about the Ontology, the NEO ecosystem news. And we've got Switcheo on NEO news today. This was actually posted yesterday. So Switcheo exchange lists NEX and SDUSD trading pair. Now, Switcheo did actually list the NEX on the NEO pair, but SDUSD is the stable token, which is on Switcheo, which you can basically use as collateral, just like you can use Tether, for example. When the market is volatile, if the prices go up and you want to sell, and obviously you want to stay on Switcheo, you can simply switch to SDUSD, which is the stable token. It's pegged to the US dollar, the 1-to-1 ratio. The liquidity isn't that good, but you can always generate it from your NEO basically. But yeah, it is available now with NEX, so you can simply swap in and out NEX into this stable token. Yeah, it has been listed on March's 25th restricted listing of the NEX NEO. Okay, so when did they actually list this? It doesn't actually say when. Yeah, it doesn't actually say when, but it has actually been listed now, so it's live on there. But yeah, this is pretty much how it is. And also the Nash exchange, it is in beta testing at the moment. Okay, so NEX is the token, Nash is going to be the decentralized exchange. Well, I wouldn't really say it's 100% decentralized. I'd probably say it's a hybrid blockchain, hybrid exchange, because, you know, a lot of these, to be 100% decentralized as an exchange, it means you cannot have anybody trying to fix it if something goes wrong. You need to rely on the developer community, open source, to basically fix it, right? So in this case, you've got Switcheo fixing stuff if Switcheo goes down. You've got Nash fixing stuff, the Nash developers, if Nash goes down. So it's not 100% decentralized. It's a hybrid exchange. It's just something to keep in mind. I don't know why this term decentralized is still being used when the reality is it should really be a hybrid exchange. But yes, that's that. Now let's move on and talk about the next piece of news, which is Trinity's TNC is delisted from the KuCoin exchange, and Alchemist's SDS delisted from BitBox exchange. So 2 new delistings. And what is the reason for these 2 delistings? It's simply because of the liquidity. Okay, people are not happy with the lack of liquidity. The exchange, obviously, the exchanges aren't happy because they need to keep them operational. So they're basically delisting them. So just something to keep in mind. That you've got until the 6th of July 2019 to withdraw your TNC, your Trinity tokens, from the KuCoin exchange. And also you've got until May 3rd 2019 to withdraw your SDS tokens from BitBox. Okay, just so you don't lose out on them. And yeah, let's talk about the final piece of news from today, which is O3 Labs updates account permissions in O3 Desktop v2.0.5. So we've got a desktop application update of the O3 Labs application. Okay, this is the desktop wallet, which they've upgraded, not the mobile wallet. Now, there are some differences, of course, between the desktop version and the mobile version. For example, the Hyper Dragons Go game cannot be played on the mobile version, and neither can the Stakeology feature be used to stake your Ontology coins using the mobile version to a node. You do need to use the desktop version for that, right? They're not yet available. And yeah, basically they've just done an update, a simple update, which includes improvements to the account permission model. And O3 Labs also state that the advances allow users to interact with dApps via the D API in a more fluid and secure manner. And this is basically a protocol designed to give dApps an easy way to connect with existing NEO wallets from within a browser. Now, in previous versions, users were personally required to authenticate their accounts when a dApp requested to connect. And this requirement was an unnecessary step in the flow of using the dApp. Okay, so now it's no longer the case. I just wanted to show you here something that I didn't actually talk about. So one of the new features that the O3 desktop wallet has integrated is Alchemint, which is the stable token which is used to collateralize your NEO to SDUSD. So it's just something to check out if you're interested. With the volatility of the market now that prices have gone up a lot, some of you may not be so interested to basically hold them. Maybe you think that the price is going to go down, so you may want to switch to a stable token, wait it out, wait for the dip, and maybe get back in. Okay, not financial advice, it's just something to keep in mind with the stable token functionality of Alchemint being integrated in the O3 desktop wallet, right? So this is making just life easier for you if you're a trader. But that's pretty much it from today. Again, I just want to remind you to leave a comment below if you have anything to add in any of the topics that I've discussed. I'm actually curious to get your input. Let me know what other type of topics you'd like me to cover as well in the future. I'll be happy to check them out too. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And also don't forget to like the video. It's very, very important. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video.